Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my SPX daily plan. And let me pull up a price chart and we can get started here. That's not what I want to see. This is what I want to see, I think. Now, I'm in Florida now, not New York, because FYI. And so the whole technology probably realize that ease of use of technology is not my strong suit, and so I'm just kind of faking it till I make it, so to speak. I think this should populate, and this is my 9-year-old laptop that doesn't seem to be wanting to cooperate very well. Here we go. It just took a minute. Okay, so here we are flirting with 6,800. I make every day. It's not a mathy indicator. It's just my levels that I kind of write out manually, and then I ask ChatGPT to turn this into something that, you know, into something that will just be vertical lines on a trading view chart. So it's the levels that I see as important in how I would trade it, how I will trade it. Okay, so here we are near the 6,800 round number. Looked like we almost got there, but not quite. And in case anybody is wondering, scratching their head, saying like, "What happened? Why are we up 0.75% or whatever it is, 60 points from the close on Friday?" Well, because government shutdown is over-ish, and for those non-U.S. people, and maybe for those U.S. people that are a little bit younger and that don't take social studies anymore, um, what was stymieing the government shutdown from being resolved was that the opposing party, aka the Democrats, were the Democrats were filibustering in the Senate so that the Republicans, who have a majority, couldn't vote on the budget that they want. And so there was a vote to invoke cloture, which basically means shut up, you can't filibuster forever, you can't keep talking. And that passed last night. There were a few attempts at it, but we already knew at the open yesterday that it was going to happen. It was a when, not if. And you see, we were kind of chopping around. We always point because, as we know, that's roughly where the 20-day moving average is. It's a round number. We had a breakout there. I forget when, like months ago at 67.50. So that's kind of been a key support resistance level reference point for quite a while. And so we broke through that. Now here we are. And the question that's not really that relevant of a question in my mind is, does the government reopen, and like, does Trump sign the document today, tomorrow, Wednesday? How long do the whole mechanics and procedural things take? And that just depends on how many monkey wrenches people want to throw into it, or how many like grandstanding speeches people want to give on the Senate or floor, or interviews they want to give. I don't know, but that's going to happen. Oh, Fed Daily just out. Good news that inflation slowing outside of tariff goods. Okay, so a positive remark from the Fed never hurts the market. We have CPI and PPI, I think it is this week, Wednesday and Thursday, I believe it is, or Thursday and Friday. And CPI will come out with or without the government shutdown, I believe, because the Social Security payments, cost of living, and all that is indexed to that. So they did that last month, and so they'll do that. Then how fast the Department of Labor, the BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics, can get the numbers out for employment numbers, unemployment, non-farm payrolls, all the numbers we've been missing for 40 days, how soon they get that out, and how that unrolls and is framed, packaged, and sold to the public will kind of somewhat determine the future path. Okay, that's done with all the headline stuff. We also have the, just throwing in the headline while we're at it, the Supreme Court decision about Trump using whatever act he used for the tariffs. That was voted down, I guess, but there's going to be appealing, whatever the legal wrangling is going to be. But in my opinion, Trump took lemons and made lemonade by saying, okay, fine, until a final decision is reached, which could be a year, 9 months, years, I'm not going to make any new tariffs or whatever. So I think he's effectively backed himself out of the tariff corner that he painted himself into, which will likely ease inflation and all that, and be able to somehow take a victory lap and make this defeat look like a victory. I mean, that's what I would do. Put it this way, if I were advising him, that's what I would do. I would turn this into a victory. Okay, but luckily I'm not the presidential advisor. Although I would take the job, I don't care. Okay, switching to the options depth heat map. Not heat map, position map. And for those of you that are not familiar, and I sometimes put the discount code in for options depth. I also have one for Mentor Q. Trying to work out affiliate links with some other people. But be that as it may, I use options depth, I use spot gamma, I use gamma edge, I use everybody. And I synthesize it and come up with it for myself. But this is the main thing I use, options depth. So that's what we're going to look at. And so where are we now? We are right here at 67.90. And as a reminder that I like to do every time we do this, bars, this is market maker position, net positions, netting out puts and calls, etc. And positive gamma, market makers long gamma, customers short positions are to the right of the midline. So what does that mean? That means people sold the last 68.15 calls. That's what we're seeing here. Not really anything very tricky. Oh shit, what did I do? What did I do? I'm afraid to refresh this. I'm having trouble with my, okay. We're just gonna adjust. So we have 3,000 plus calls sold up here. In between, we have this little notch at 67.90 that we've been flirting with. And so we have 67, 80, 90 as one zone, 67, 90, 6,800 round number where there's 3,200 long customer long calls, but we have customer short puts at 6,800. So we have a lot of action at 6,800 that will be kind of where the first battle zone is. And if we get over 6,800, then we should stall out before 6,815. So I was talking to some of the guys before. So a fly taking advantage of the move to 6,800 and stalling out at 15 might make sense. So you might want to sell the 15 in the body of the fly or the 10 and buy the 6,800 or the 6,795 if you want to get the convex move up. And I would do that more as a trade. I don't know that we pinned there at the end of the day, although 6,800 round number seems like as good a place as any. However, should we see some weakness and we kind of break below the 6780, there's really not a lot from a gamma point of view till 6765, which is roughly the bottom of the expected move. So, if VIX perks up a little bit, if people say, yeah, government shutdown, but still whatever they're complaining about, AI spend or dollar or whatever macro things that are going on. Also, let me not leave out systematic flows. Systematic flows, I'm not sure what their algos are. They still have to certainly slow down on their selling. I have to wait till I get some research to see if they're going to actually buy based on the setup now. We finally had a day with Friday where realized volatility, although to you and me and anybody else who was sitting there trading Friday, it sure as hell looked like a lot of realized volatility, 100 points, but realized volatility from close to close, we were up, 8 points. Okay, nothing, a flat day. So I'm not sure what the programs are going to be, buy, sell, or indifferent. So that's going to kind of tilt us upside or downside. And I really don't know where the systematic flows are going to come in on yet. They will revert to buying sooner rather than later, but I'm not sure yet when. What we could see here is this big red zone. I think I should be presidential advisor. And yes, I took French in high school. They taught it in the locker room. And so we see this long gamma all here. Let's see if this thing fixed itself. I don't know what the hell happened here on top. What happened? It's old ass laptop technical term. Let me see if I mess with the numbers a little bit. If that gets it to reset itself. And this is not their fault. This is my fault because there we go. Yay, I fixed it. See that? After I get a job as presidential advisor, I'm going to also go for a job with Google as their advisor on Chrome. So I just got this to work on Chrome. So I can do high-level tech development for Chrome. And so, again, here's the one fly-looking structure, and we can talk about how to kind of play with this. Another downside fly structure. If we get some weakness, if the bears get emboldened somewhat, or we just kind of the people take profits and say, you know what, let's give it a break here. Pretty clean 80, 70, 65, call it 60, selling the mid in here. Or if you want to go for the gusto and maybe try to get a move from 70 through this down into toward the 50. That's another way to play flies. I think that's what I might have done. My accidentally zoomed in. And so that's kind of, it's really not that tricky. Okay, so now let's switch gears again. Or same gear, different. No, so I guess we're switching gears. Okay. So I'll keep with my automobile metaphors. Okay. So I was messing around with some flies. And here's kind of one fly, a put fly, if we go down. This is a 15 wide, so a 15 wide, that's pretty decent. Another way to play this would be a 10 by 15, but I'm not going to do that right now. That's pretty decent for this, for a 15 wide. Could play with the 10 wide. Now let's look at the calls. I like this call, 6,800 to get the convexity. Sell the 10 because we're going to stall probably at 15, and buy the 20 at 10 wide for roughly 110, 120, something like that. I'm willing to kind of do these. Put those in. Now, it's probably no secret to any of you that are following me that I'm quote unquote known for iron condor selling. And let's put in a few different variations. And I like to sell them separate. My stock 20 wide. Happy with that. Let's go to stock 20 wide on top. I didn't show you what it's doing up at 50. I always like to give it a little extra room just in quick. They don't want to pay me. Fine, I could do this. Put one in at 40 cents if it gets there, what I call a wish trade. And we're not going through 50 today. We have expected move of 50. I'll call bullshit on that expected move. That's me practicing my French again. Let's see what the real expected move is. Oh yeah, the same. That's weird. 29. Yeah, that sounds more like it. 30, I would say. So let's just call it a 30 expected move from where we are now, which is 90. So that's 68, 15, 20-ish, top of where we have that market maker long gamma. That's kind of the top of the expected move. That makes sense. And 30 points down from here, say we're 90, 95 is 68, 65, where we had kind of that little shelf and cluster. So the expected move kind of jives with the structure. Okay, so I put in my top side plays for the wide ones. Now, not everybody is comfortable doing 20 wides. And so for the sake of people that are kind of a little more risk, just have, I don't want to call it risk averse, who like to trade differently. Let's just say a 10 wide. That's a pretty standard that a lot of people like to trade. A 10 wide, So we have to go back to, let me go to the screen again. So where do I want to sell put? So I definitely want be below 68.40. I don't know how I screwed up again with this thing. Oh, there we go. Somebody gave me a pointer to double click. Um, below 68.40, in theory, it gets kind of ugly. Now, I don't think we get there. That's 2x the expected move. So I would probably be a little conservative. I guess kind of. I don't really have any gamma at my back to tell me anything. So this is kind of just going with like delta and everything else. So there's 40 on the bottom, 45, whatever, down there. And we'll put in its brother on top. Try and get roughly the same credit. What's its brother on the top going to look like? Whoops. Its brother on the top, 10 wide. Eh. See if I can get 40 cents on that. Something like that. I don't usually put them in as iron condors. Some people like to get $1 for these, in which case you'd have to go something like 45.55 and 15.05, 20, something like that. That's not bad either. That's not horrible. I'll put that in as well. So now I have this whole mess in here. And I leave these in, and later on in the day, I'll typically take screenshots of what filled and take screenshots of me closing them. And generally, they tend to always be winners. If you look at, I put them out on Twitter and on Substack, and you see they tend to be winners. They tend to be winners. And that's it. Oh, we got Bad Hombre here. Welcome, brother. Welcome. I didn't see you sneak into the room.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys had a nice, relaxing weekend. I've got something special for you all
See you
today.
sneak into the room.
You
Without
guys hear
further,
me okay? Hello? Can you guys hear me?
you're kind of breaking up a little bit. You're breaking up a little bit. I'm trying to get. There we go. I got E-mini up here now.
Okay, I'll go a little slow
I
just in
don't hear
case.
him. I don't know about anybody else. Good point.
Yeah, let me go a little slower just to make sure nothing's lost in with the signal here. So I'm looking at ES. Um, I'm gonna give you kind of the ideal game plan that I'd see for today. I'd like to see closer to open, if not right after open, a push down to 67.95, call it 67 98, anywhere in that area, 3 to 5 points, give or take. And I'd like to see buyers step in there for and I'd be targeting pre-market high, which right now would be 68.25. That's
Okay, so
that's kind of the
an easy pull back, reclaim, and then bounce back up. Yeah.
easy. Yeah, that's ideal situation. If we can't hold 67.95 and we start to see some sellers, to the downside, I'd be looking for 67.70. Um, so about 20 to 25 points either direction from 67.95. If we can hold to the upside, I like to let me give you a better target here. 1 second. If we can hold to the upside, I could even see us tapping 68.35 to the upside, and even higher than that, maybe 68.60. Those are kind of my main targets for the upside. Downside, like I said,
And
below six. Go ahead, Doc.
that's where if you look at this is the SPX. I was just going to tell the people that this is the SPX string between these levels and the levels that he's talking about, which are more traditional future scalping kind of ways of looking at it, with the added benefit of knowing where the market maker's hedging response is going to be, which just adds confirmation and confidence to the reaction at those levels.
Yep, that's why I put them on my chart to kind of help guide me to see when I can expect. There's the one I really like when you put out is the stall. I really hate. I like trading towards it, but once I'm there, I like to kind of give myself a 20 to 30 minute break to see if we're moving above or holding. Um, yeah, and to the downside, I don't see
I'll be
too
sure
much
to put
movement.
that nomenclature back in,
Yeah,
because really this top of chop should also be a stall. There should also be a
that's
stall
what I
up there,
assumed. Yeah,
right at 68.15. Yeah,
you said
that should be a stall up
68.15.
there.
That's SPX, right?
Yeah, SPX. So what are we, like 25-point difference?
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. Um, so right now if we're coming up, here's the game plan as of now, as since we're coming up now. If we can break pre-market high today or into open, I see a potential reversal then if we break below 68.10. And then I would target that 795 if we break 68.10. But we would have to hit the pre-market high before for that trade to be valid, in my eyes. So a push up here. I mean,
Now,
we're go ahead.
for my curiosity, I know the what's the word I'm looking for? The jury is split between how much weight to put on pre-market highs and lows, etc. I know some people say they don't really matter. Some people say no, they matter just like any other level. Where do you fall on that?
They matter to me quite a bit.
Okay.
They matter to me quite a bit, and the other level that I watch for is previous day close.
Now, previous day close, yeah. Well, now previous day close is like 60 points below us, so you don't want to see that. You don't want to see
No,
anything near
no.
that.
Yeah, that's right. Um, but outside of that, not expecting anything too crazy short of maybe government shutdown news, but I think it should be a pretty good day.
But getting back to previous day close, if I just kind of zoom my chart back, it wasn't that long ago when we were, what was it? It was only Thursday before the big debacle that we were up around here, 6,800 ish on SPX, and we were kind of up here. So a run from where we are, another whatever that is, 30 points up toward here, isn't like off the charts, so to speak. It's right on the chart. 15-minute charts
Yep.
go back a couple days. So just from
Yeah, it's important to be adjusting our standards based on
And
what the
so,
market's given us, right?
yep, 100%. And so, for those of you that don't know, Chewy runs the E-mini scalping room or the future scalping room. He likes to also mess with NQ, which is a wild animal. Although I sold some NQ puts last night, and I closed them already at my like 65% profit. So I stole a few $100 while I was sleeping. Um, I think I sold a rounded 10-inch delta, 12-inch delta. I don't remember where, like 50 wide or something. Um, I don't typically do that, but it does seem like, come on, man, I have to. And I had one or two futures. I had one future left in inventory from Friday at like my cost was, 100 points or 50 points below where we closed. So I just kept it over the weekend. Normally I wouldn't, and I closed that out last night. No, I think I closed it out this morning when I woke up, and so now I'm kind of flat in that area. And so tell them about your course.
Yeah, guys. So we've had a lot of good feedback from it. Right now, we do have a wait list going for people because it's a live one-on-one program, so I can't do too many at the same time. But it's it is what it is. It's a live one-on-one program. We go over 2 weeks, how I trade, exactly how I trade, executions, stops, targets, all the good stuff. A lot of people find good success with it because it's easy to follow, easy in quotations, but it's formulaic and removes ambiguity from your system, allowing for, I'd say, more black and white trading, when to trade, when not to trade, and when to make money and sit on your hands. The I would say if you're struggling, it'll help. If you don't know what you're doing, it'll
And
really help.
I think what's particularly valuable about that, just from like feedback I've seen and from kind of like chatting with people, is that a lot of people are trying to either qualify for prop trading or not get screwed out of it by losing too much. And I think the
Right.
money management portion of it is really valuable. And, I think as traders, we often don't talk about it. We talk about where we're going, whatever. Okay, stop here, whatever. But, my former, even TA mentors used to beat money management into our head and say, you got to have your money management and et cetera, et cetera. You want to talk about that for a second?
Yeah. So good segue there with, I mean, I'm a big believer that entries aren't necessarily your most important part of trading. I'd say stops and targets are, because if you can tell me that the market's going up, but you can't tell me to where, it's kind of useless, in my opinion. Um, so being able to set the right expectation for a trade leads you to a higher win rate, and being able to set a good invalidation point, um, as like a stop, that sets your loss expectation. So if you can do that before you enter the trade, you can tell yourself, am I okay risking 300? Am I okay risking 600, or whatever it may be, before you take the trade? M- Making that decision in the beginning will lead to more, I don't know, trades you can actually survive, right? Because I think everyone can take a little $100 ding here and there, but it's when the dings get bigger that you start to fail accounts, you start to lose money, and it's helpful to know when to avoid a trade that has a bigger invalidation point, or to be more patient for a better entry, either or. But yeah, guys, it's a pretty
Good
good
stuff.
program. If you have any questions, please feel free to DM me on Discord, X, Twitter, YouTube, whatever it is. I'd love to get you on the program.
On X, is it? It's the same screen name.
Yeah, it's the bad hombre.
Okay. I'm gonna put you on the stop on the spot. What's the backstory behind that screen name?
So funny question. During Trump's first election, he called Mexicans bad hombres, and we were in college. I started a window cleaning business called Bad Hombre Window Cleaning, so I just kind of kept it.
I love
Got a
it.
lot of business
I
from
knew
it
there was a
too.
good
Yeah.
story behind it. I wasn't sure what it was though.
Yeah. Good times. And I was out in Seattle, so people were eating that up and really helped push us out into an industry that had a lot of competition.
Okay, window cleaners.
Yeah,
Go figure. And that launched a real estate career,
that's right. That's right. And then I worked for Dr. Phil for a little bit.
which then launched a trading career.
Yeah, yeah. Thank God for the Fed pause. So now I'm here.
Yeah.
And if
Funny
and if
how the really
just
turns.
kind of a
Okay.
note for anyone trying to find some success in trading, if you're in options and you're trading directionally, meaning you're only buying calls or buying puts, and you're not finding success, give futures a shot. I think you might find that more consistent success faster on the future side.
And that's a good point. If you're not comfortable with options and the way they move, the way they decay, the way they breathe, so to speak, which I'm very comfortable with, if a lot of people aren't, they just don't have the feel or the mechanics or whatever it is. Futures are real easy in that if you're buying an E-mini, it's $50 a point. If you're buying an MES, it's $5 a point. Not rocket science,
Yep.
and you don't have the decay. You don't have all the other stuff. It's pretty linear in that way.
Yeah, it feels a lot more like you're trading an equity. So.
Yeah, it feels like a trading equity. Exactly. Yeah, it feels like you're trading an equity. It feels like you're buying 100 shares of Nvidia or whatever it is. Like you're buying a stock.
Hmm.
It's Delta One. They call it Delta One in the biz. Okay, so let's, for the sake of my five white people, and you know who you are. See, so you guys know I'm an unrepentant, um, volatile, spread trade or whatever. So of course, in the teeth of this pullback, I sold this. This it's called a 1-1-2 structure. 1-1 is a debit spread, which kind of, now notice that the long put is green and the short put is green too. Beautiful. And then the two that I sold way out of the money stealing, so that's all green. But this is a whole different flavor trade. I looks like I have another 1-1-2 on. Right, this one is before the different contracts. I have another 1-1-2 on here that I could take these off. I'm probably just going to leave them. I like to put it on as a trade and just leave it as a trade. That's just kind of stealing extra money from my margin. I got the buying power, so I'm going to use it. I actually monetized one of these as we went down. So I put it on before we went down, and I sold the long put for a nice profit. Just rolled it down. But anyway, getting to now, if I were to do five wide, what would I do? Now that's going to be tricky. Let's see, five wide. I'd want to be somewhere here. I mean, it's not a great five wide day. The call side is kind of easier, I think. And what makes it easier is how far we've traveled already since Friday. coupled with we have the 6810 here. But let me show you what happens when I open this baby up a little bit. Just a little bit. Now here's that formerly used 6815. Yeah, look big. Like a running back looks big until he's up against a defensive tackle. Looks big. But look, we have 10,000 up here at 6850. So I'm pretty sure we're not getting there. I'm pretty sure we're not getting to over here either. So my default easier trade doesn't mean if we break 6815 that we can't travel up in that direction. Might take some heat. Might by some miracle, if at the end of the day, if at the end of the day we're at 35 or here, the decay process could pull us up toward the 6850. Why? Because remember, positive gamma 101, as we go up, they sell going opposite the direction of the move. But then as we move away, they have to buy. And those dynamics are more exaggerated. That's not the right word, but we'll use that word for lack of a better one. The closer we are to expiration, which is why on the heat map, you see the color, you see there's not much influence from being, or risk of getting stuck up there. If we get up there at 9 o'clock in the morning, this is a time axis on the x-axis. But if we're up near here toward the end of the day, then suddenly that exerts a lot of influence. And so, yeah. Okay, I think I'm going to hop now. Thank you all for listening. Oh, wait, one more thing. See, I'm famous for wait, one more thing. Somebody mentioned that it was actually a good observation, one DTE. And I kind of like to do one DTE. I already have Fridays in there that are going to close. But one DTE, let's take a peek and see what we can see. Let me go back over here. Now, I'm not sure if my computer is going to let me do this, or if it's going to be loading for the rest of my life. Oh, wait, yeah, it'll let me do it. Which is good. Let's see what's lurking there in the one DTE department. Now, probably not much because Tuesday is not very popular for people to trade. And so on the bottom, there really isn't anything to hang our hat on other than 6,700 long. The people bought this crap. I remember watching them buy this crap last week. These puts are going to be decay. I got to look at it that way. Okay, we have 3,000 here at 6610 that was sold, but that's just so far away. So we don't have anything in gamma land that's going to give us a lot of confidence one way or another on the puts. So I can't give you the gamma all kosher. However, there being more than one way to skin a cat, if we look at an expected move of 70 and even double it-ish, let's say 150 and then come in, for I mean, dude, if I can get these prices, if I could sell below the 50-day moving average for Tuesday, 15-1, they're not paying anything. I'll go the other round number. That looks fine. If you want to do a 20 wide, I'll do that. I wanted to do a 10 wide. I'd be willing to see. You have to kind of go close. You have to go 6,700 ish to get decent juice on a 10 wide. That's not horrible. And what would I do on top on the 10 wide? Well, what was that big ass strike we had today? 68. What was it? 68.50, right? So I want to go away from that. I want it to be a 10 more aggressive up here. That looks fine to me. A 10 wide for Tuesday. I'm putting one in, not investment advice, just talking to a couple of traders, talking to each other. I'll also put in one of each independently. I tend not to enter iron condors as one trade. I tend to trade it each side separately. 60 cents. If I wanted to be a coward, I could do that. All right, I'm putting all this stuff in. We'll see if it fills, and I'll put it on Twitter or whatever else. And I report the good and the bad. I haven't had much bad to report, although the other day I managed to squeeze out like I don't remember what it was, a $300 profit on like $20,000 worth of trading and spreads. So not the best. I put that out as well. Sometimes I just make a pizza. But anyway, all right, take care. Maybe we can examine one DTE around noon. Yes, and one DTE, you have a lot more visibility after the close. Remember, at 4 o'clock, we can still put them in. At 4 o'clock, we can still put them in. We have 15 minutes. And typically, one DTE, of course, using gamma levels to tweak it, but typically around a 15-ish delta on each side, 10 wide or 5 wide, or tweak it a little bit, tends to work. If you can get a 5 wide for about $1 near those deltas, near those strikes, that works. A 5 wide for $1.35, a third the width of the spread. Good risk reward, textbook entry mechanics. I'm okay with a 10 wide for $1.10, $1.20 with one DTE at the close. Even now, earlier, sure, although it might take some heat in the heat of battle, but that's kind of how I'm looking at it. Sideways is where I need help. Are you talking about the future scalping? Waluigi? I mean, because sideways for me as a iron condor seller is a dream. I'd be happy if the market just went sideways forever. And I have a nice sized portfolio, so I'll keep my portfolio the way it is and just sell puts and calls around it till the end of time. Okay, so that's it. No sideways and SPX. Okay, scalping long and short or selling spreads. Oh, you want follow through? Yeah, I hate follow through. As a spread seller, I identify my chop zone. I just want us to stay in there. Yeah, and as you know, 20%, 80% of the time ish, it's a range day, consolidation day. Only 20% of the time we're trending. So maybe recalibrate your frustration tolerance level. That's why I'm here. Okay, good. Good answer. Good answer. Okay, and we'll tweak that. And actually, I'm thinking of shifting gears a little bit in some of what I do and overlaying some of the coaching, psychological, personal variables into the equation. Because many of us kind of have a decent idea of TA levels and gamma or whatever else we use. Otherwise, we wouldn't even be interested in looking at something like this. We'd be trading something else. And what often gets in the way, I know, even for me, quote unquote, even still, is the psychological. The When lizard brain grabs the mouth, either because he's a greedy FOMO lizard and wants more, or whether it's lizard brain is on fight or flight and wants to hide and gets out too soon. So I've learned to identify that and to kind of, you know, not act on it, but that's a whole nother part of the equation. All right, guys, I'm out of here now. See you. See you out there.